All right, my wife's out recording some stuff live right now, so I am in the official Pulaski Pinball HQ. Got my Pinball Eternal prototype over here. Also got my old Megadeth side cab right there. Um, that was actually made out of guitar speaker, guitar cabinet vinyl, and then I just spray painted Megadeth on it to look kind of punk rock. Even got an old Megadeth Translite. And that was the first one I used for my game. And if you see it right there, there's where I have just my digits for the display. So again, I was going ultra low budget, like for display and stuff, just putting a small score LCD, LED segmented display there. So let's go with Pinball Designer updates first. So here's my timeline of what we're looking at. So April to May timeframe, we're going to release in different chunks. So April to May is like virtual games. You get the software, $50. That's all I'm promising you. I gave you a piece of software. You can design games, design layouts, play test them. You can drag all these parts. You get all the CNC data, like I said, for different upgrade charges. I still have to finish my ramp editor. My wireform editor just needs a little bit of polish. Pretty much done with most of the LCD stuff and the game logic. And I'm going to put out a beta test at some point. So I'm going to push some stuff to like the people that supported me, like Retro Ralph, Don, Carrie Hardy. I think those are only 3 people that actually mentioned me from when I emailed an update. So we'll push it out to those guys and give them a free beta to play around with. Some other people that are in the community that follow my stuff we'll give out some beta versions as well. I'm basically going to release an update in about a week or 2 still. I'm just cranking through, getting as much as I can to show you guys really, because I really want to show you as much as possible and just kind of blow you away, because what I showed before was very cool, but now you can actually program and build an entire game, which my claim right now is you can build your own or replicate any game in the entire world in about 30 minutes to an hour. Now, what that means is, again, you've seen how easy you can drag and drop components, play around in real time. I've abstracted the entire programming interface, so you don't even have to know how to program anything. You just drag and drop stuff. Again, when you look at video games versus pinball, right? I've been doing video games for 20 years now. You have to learn a lot of stuff to do video games. People have no idea. With pinball, you hit a switch and you do something. So what do you want to do? I hit the switch. That adds to my mode. I got to hit these switches or this switch this many times, and then it's going to complete the mode. When the mode's complete, what do you want to do? You want to play a movie clip. You want to show the total score. What happens when a ball drains, when it hits the ball drain switch? You play a movie that the ball drained, and here's a bunch of variables that you print out. So pretty much you hit switches, you print information, and you play animated features. Now, of course, again, when I say something like 30 minutes to an hour, yeah, you can pretty much make that game. There's a lot of artistic stuff on the side. So if you're, hand animating some art assets that go on the LCD, you're making your own custom fonts, things like that, that's up to you. That could take a month, that could take a year. It's whatever your decision on that is. But what we're going to do is we're going to sit down. We're going to replicate 2 games that are already existing pretty much entirely from scratch. We're going to drag and drop all those components. I'm going to show you how to do inlay lights, stickers, replicate them, how you can program every single mode in that game, how the movie clips would play. So you're really going to get an idea how powerful this tool is. So again, that's April to May. We're looking at releasing the virtual side of the software. Step 2 is like August. So I'm going to start after that release, when you can buy the game, we're going to just start scanning in all the parts I can find. I basically measure them with a caliper or ruler. I get all the measurements so that you can place brackets underneath the hood or what's on the top, different posts, pop bumpers, all that stuff. So they'll be measured accurately. And then again, I get all the drill hole data. I measure, the distance from each little hole where you have to screw in a bracket. So all this stuff's just going to start getting scanned in. At that time, I'm going to start focusing on finishing hardware as well. I've had a couple different versions of my hardware, like still incomplete. So we're going to really figure out what we want to do there for the end users. We'll get those boards certified, and then those would go up for sale. So around August is when I'm looking to get all the CNC parts fitted, and then all of the hardware that I could sell to you, so you could literally go out and make your own games. The third step from there is going to be more like October. Again, these are all flexible. It's, I could go faster, I could go slower. I'm just kind of giving you guys an idea, because I know in my original video I said this is going to come really soon or coming soon, but yeah, just giving you an idea that where it's coming. So October, I'm hoping that I can get all of my wireform stuff finalized. I still have some work to do to translate all of the 3D vectorized data to bend every wireform in three-dimensional stuff. Right now I can do two-dimensional, and I have to finish some things there. But you know, you start going to three-dimensional and some of these other complex wireforms that can kind of hook up. If you've seen the James Bond game, the 007 game, it has a wireform that kind of curves virtually up in the air like that. If you look at Rush, it kind of goes up, the Rush Premium, it comes up out of a scoop, then it rotates this way and comes all the way down the field. So that's a really 3D custom wireform. Again, I want to have that wire bender done. That's pretty much going to be in-house. And then I'd like to get all my plasma cutters up and running and being able to cut out ramps for you guys as well, to just sell all this stuff direct. The other side thing from there is I think most people use DXF. That I've worked with one place that did DXF. So if not, what we'll do is we'll take all the vectorized data, we'll export it direct to a .dxf file, and then you can take that to a local laser cutter, plasma cutter, whatever, and they know how to run their machines and turn it into code to be able to cut out. So that's kind of my plans for the year. And around the October timeframe, once all of that stuff is going and I can cut ramps and do different things, I might start looking into the first game that I release after that sometime, right? So the full custom shop, which is you design your whole entire game in my software and you press a button and say, Adam, build me this machine. It's $5,500 or whatever. Don't know when I'm going to do that or if I'm ever going to do that. We'll see. I'm having a kid. We're going to time all this stuff out and see how everything goes. To go full retail and sell games, again, I have no idea. But and around October timeframes when I might start working on fiddling with my first game, which is honestly probably not going to be Pinball Eternal. Pinball Eternal has got a bunch of stuff, guys. It's going to be somewhere between like a 7 and 9 flipper game. I'm packing this thing, and it's everything that you hit pretty much animates. The price is going to be a little bit higher than I wanted to go. It's also going to be higher than this other game I'm talking about that I've already designed with the layout. So you're looking at maybe $1,000 difference between those two games. I'm not going to list the price yet of what I'm trying to hit. I'm always trying to push the best price possible, and as I've said before, I really don't want to sell games for $7,000. $7,000 games that are my own IP that I don't have to license to somebody, that's, where my material costs, even if I were to just buy all parts from a supplier that exists, we're way off from $7,000. So we're going to do the best that we can to sell fun games at a great price. You know, it's going to be the best price I can get. Let's see, what else? Some more things about Pinball Designer. So I had said that I'm looking to do achievements for the homebrew guys. So everyone's pretty much familiar with Stern's Insider Connect. I actually worked on Xbox One game, the Madden Football series. I think that was the third iteration of an Xbox console, so it's like 20 years in. But they rewrote all their achievement stuff from scratch, and I was the first one to poke into their achievement code. So they had this really ghetto way to do it at the beginning because we were, again, the first game, Madden Football from EA Sports, to go into their system. So I would have to I think I sent like a spreadsheet. I don't know if somebody was manually entering them or whatever, but I'd be like, here's our achievements for Xbox. Here's the name of them. Here's the points, rewards, whatever. And I had to email it to the Xbox people. Then they would put it in. Then I could go in and test them. I could fire off a code that says, hey, Xbox, grant this achievement to the user. I'd see the screen pop up, and so there were a lot of bugs with that system, but I think a lot of it was because manual entry. But what I'm getting at is with Pinball Designer, I want to do something similar, but a little bit more streamlined. So when you're in my software, you're going to be able to make all your achievements, put the description for it, the code icon for it, and all that stuff. You would basically click a button, and it's going to generate the code that I need to read. So either it's just going to go straight to me and insert something, or I might have to just manually take that file and copy it to a server. And what'll happen is your game's live, basically. So while you're running this software, whether it's physical or this game, again, they all run on the same PC. It doesn't matter. Anytime you say, hey, this thing happened, and I click, hey, after this happens, I hit the switch 9 times, grant achievement, hit switch 9 times. When you call that grant achievement, that fires off some data to my server and tells you, hey, this person that's playing right now, whether they're authenticated or not, got an achievement. So update their information, and it happens all just under the hood. So again, I want to streamline it for like homebrew guys. You go to a place and I don't know. I think it might be fun for people to just be achievement chasing homebrew games. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Also, along with that, I made a post about, I started looking at the QR code readers, how they generate their data and how you read them and stuff. So I posted a video about that. That's pretty interesting. I'll maybe put a link. The guy's name was Veritasium. He's got a YouTube channel about like physics and science and stuff. But it's possible that I could just take the Stern QR code that you get from your profile that does not change from day to day. So once you get a login, that's your login. And we could use that image to read it on my software. So if you were to basically, let's say Pinball Eternal comes out and I want to support this Outsider Connector achievement system. You could optionally, when you sign up for an account, say, hey, I want to use my Stern Insider QR code to log into your games. And if I have a QR code system in here, you could just use that one app, and when you scan in, now these are two different servers and systems, but the QR would be universal. You could just read it on both my games and Stern's, and it would know, hey, Adam Pulowski's logged into a game. So yeah, that would be like a universal code. It's kind of easier. You could always print out your code and scan it into the game if you have a card, and you just print it on your printer. I don't want to create an app, honestly. I don't want to be dealing with iPhone and Android, and then you log into this thing and presents you with stuff. So ideally, I just want it to happen kind of on the back end where you get your QR code and then all that data goes to a server, and then it just runs HTML code somewhere. You could log in on your computer and see the achievements you have. Maybe someday I'll get to an app. I just don't have all that time. But anyway, that's my idea what I might do. I have other ways to log in that I've looked at, but I think it's cool if you could share a QR code with Stern. So some other cool features with Pinball Designer, when you play a game, everything that happens in that game gets logged. So if you hit a switch, you log an event that says a switch hit. Player 2 up, player 2 up. Everything that you can physically see happen in a game, that gets logged to a file. So if you have an issue where a game's broken and you need me to look at it, I can literally just load that up and then replay it, and it'll know like, hey, I'm on code sequence step 5 and it got stuck, something's not going on. Like I can basically replay an entire game from file, right? So if you have a 30-minute game and then something like locked up and you don't know what's going on, you'd be like, hey, my game broke, and I'd tell you to go into the computer, go into this log file system, go to your last entry or whatever, send me that file. So I would load up the Pinball Designer tool that I've built, and then I'd load up a replay file, and it would just play all the stuff out, and then it would just go, and it would know, hey, you're on like the 10th multi-ball of this sequence, and I can go in there and just live debug the code and kind of try and figure out what's going on. It's also a cool feature in that when you watch some people on YouTube, you'll see like, whoa, dude, in like 2 minutes, this guy got like 3 billion points. I don't understand what happened. So end users could read these files and go, okay, like he did, this, it stacked a multi-ball, he's got this, he's got a multiplier on it, a playfield multiplier, and then you could kind of see how people are really gaining points and, tournament players or whatever, just gaining different points and getting high scores. So it's a good way to learn how to play that way. Again, if I didn't say already, we're going to sit down and basically program a couple games from scratch and show how Pinball Designer works. It's going to be entire code logic, LCD animations playing. We're going to show you how to build the layouts, everything. Another cool feature is, again, this is my little spot to work on my game. Most of the time I'm programming in the house. So what I would do is I'd write my code for my pinball machine, and I'd upload it to Google Drive, and I'd have a new application. I'd come over here, I'd log into my computer with a keyboard and mouse, and then I'd drag my new executable here and rerun, the Pinball Eternal executable. And it's kind of a pain in the butt. So what I'm actually going to support, helps me and probably a lot of other people, is you're going to have your game maybe in a garage or somewhere, but you want to work on it, at a desktop computer. I'm planning to do Delta updates for all of the code. So, if I put a game out in the real world, and I only make like a change to an animation or an MP3 file or something, you only send that as the update. So we're talking about really small updates from version 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 of each game. But when you send that update, they're all Delta updates, including for your game. So if you're building a homebrew, same thing. You're doing code, you're like, hey, I want to change this multi-ball sequence, and you just click a button, and there's a server that's hosted between these guys. So this computer can talk to the one in my house on my local internet, and it'll just read it and know it updates and grabs the new files and grabs the new code, and you have all your data to just come out here and reboot your game and play it live if you want to play the physical game. What else? I was watching this just came out today, the Multimorphic interview with Loser Kid. So one of the things that's crazy, he says, is most pinball companies are like a game or two away from potentially going out of business. It's a tough market. And again, that's insane, right? Like, that's not the business I want to go into. That's why I haven't dove in. I have a day job. It pays me very well. I can retire like in 7 years if I want to.
Positive. Are you in the profitability stage?
So every game is different. We've had good games that are great sellers for us, and we've had other games that haven't sold as much. We're in an okay place right now. We're making enough money with each game sale to justify continuing to build the next one, and hopefully more than one after it. So it's a tough business, though. There's no illusion about it. Yeah. Every single manufacturer is probably one or two duds from a big problem. And the industry's soft right now as well. So we're all kind of trying to maneuver through this difficult industry. And
yeah, when you're a game away from going out of business, I don't want to risk that. I want to make sure that this company, I know everything about pinball machines, everything about programming pinball machines, shipping, building, just everything, so that this is basically risk-free. When I launch my company and I start selling my very first games, I'm basically going to just press a button and this thing's going to be up and running. We're going to be building games day one, and we're just not going to stop. That's until I can get to that, I'm not risking my entire life savings and all that stuff. So yeah, that's scary to hear that from him. Another thing that's interesting from that video is he says that he took money early on, and somebody gave him advice that said, yeah, just take the money and run with it, and build the business and go full time. And that, as soon as I heard that, that was crazy. But then he also said, yeah, this was bad advice.
Eighth of what I thought I would need to get it done. An eighth. I had an acquaintance who was a business advisor, and I went and talked to him. I was like, they want to give me some money to get this thing started, but it's nowhere near enough. Should I? What's your advice? And he said, if someone's offering you money, you take it and you give it a shot. And it was the worst advice I've ever received in my professional career.
Yeah, I'm never gonna give away any of my company, even for $1. Once you start doing that, then you're beholden to somebody else. So your vision gets canceled out by what they want to do. They want to make their money back. I don't know if he has an investor right now or what, but if he took money, I would assume somebody owns part of his company. And when you got another person that needs to make money, the price of your product's gonna go up. So I'm not sure if that's part of the cost of their price, or if they have an investor. One other thing is Spooky Pinball. They released the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Looney Tunes at the same time. Remember, these were games that shared the same layout and geometry and ramps and all that stuff, but they were two different themes with two different pieces of code and animations and artwork and stuff. Here was a post that one of the programmers made. So basically what they did is they had two parallel teams coding these games completely from scratch. No commonized code. They're using two different video game engines. So 10 years in, they don't have like a whole pipeline where they just kind of are like, yeah, we're using Unity game engine. We have this pipeline where it's super easy to make games and program them. So that's really interesting. Now, with Pinball Designer, I was also going to do the same thing where I was coding every game. It was in my game engine, but all the code would be, custom written for every game. And it gets a little bit tedious, and when it's not commonized, each game has its own bugs. Right now, Pinball Designer, every game runs on it, and there's no code. So underneath the hood, I can track down things because it's all commonized. If you look at a pinball machine, it's pretty much you hit a switch, you do something. And with that, you can make a lot of different game modes and stuff. But when you commonize it down to that and then tell it to like turn on lights or grant points, and how does stacking work, like stacking and multi-ball stuff, this all just works basically. So yeah, anyway, that was just something interesting that if you guys didn't know or realize that, because that was kind of wild to read that, honestly, in my opinion, for a company that's been in there 10 years, and now you got multiple programmers like working in tandem. They're working completely separate. This is a lot of money being wasted, honestly, in my opinion. I'm not sure, again, why they did that. So anyway, with that, I guess we're going to sign off, and we'll see you in about a week or two, guys.